Coach Zoe is definitely probably one of the best coaches I've ever had. He has a great heart, and he wants nothing but the best for us. He loves the D-line.
I didn't grow up around it. I'm full-blooded Italian, so the game around my house is soccer and rugby, and that's it, and a little bit of boxing. And the thing that got me into football actually was my high school football coach. And I really got into it. I thought the game was interesting, and I started studying. And my parents still don't understand it, and which is fine, but they love watching the UCF nights, so that's great. I didn't become a defensive line player until I got to college. And I started out as an offensive lineman, started out as a tackle, then got moved into a center. I played center. And they ran 40s one day, and they said, you know what, let's try a defensive line with you. From then on, I played defensive line. So I never really got to play center in college, even though that's where I was groomed to be, but that's where it ended up.
Coach Costantini is one of the most unique individuals I've ever met. I like to call him the Dos Equis guy. He's got a great story for almost any opportunity or any genre that you can think of.
Playing games earlier in my childhood, when I decided to play football, my parents had left to go on vacation to Mexico, and my sister actually signed the waivers for me to play. And when they found out, they were really upset, but then I had a lot of success with it, and then they slowly grew into a football family, I guess you could say, and they love what I do and supported me.
Yeah, he claims he knows a lot of different languages. We don't know if that's true or not because none of us speak Spanish, but he does speak Spanish, sometimes Chinese, and all kind of different languages.
I think any offensive line, defensive line coach can have a competitive relationship on the field. I think that's something that naturally is going to come with the positions that you coach. And being able for me and him to go against each other in practice as much as we do, and me and him have our competitive vibe on the field and off the field as well, I think it's something that the players feed off of. I think they feed off us getting after it and getting after each other, not in a bad way, but in a very positive way, in a fun way. And he brings a great deal of energy to the field, brings a great deal of energy to his position, fun to watch coach, and he's a great person to be around.
He brings a lot of knowledge, in terms of the position, in terms of how to develop kids. I think he does a great job, but in terms of what specific skills do we have at the defensive line? What are the things that we can do well? And he gets, game plans and sits there and structures our defensive line and putting those guys in the best position to be successful.
I think everything he's taught us as far as pass rush and just his big thing is replacing your hand. You have to replace your hand every snap and just reading your keys. And if you do those two simple things, you can be a dominant player. And it's actually showed me that if you do those, you make a lot of plays. And it's just something that I've never known. It's just something that we never really got taught.
I would hope that my kids take after what I believe in, is being fundamentally sound and being physical in line. And that's what I like, And I do believe that you win in the trenches with technique and fundamentals. And I hope that they take that from me as they move on, and I hope they carry it on further than what I know. I don't think you can ever learn the game of football all the way through. I believe that it's a learning step every year. Even as myself, I've been coaching 23 years in college, I still don't know the whole game. And that's the beauty of it. Every year you can learn something new and something better to teach your kids.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to just reading your keys. If you read your keys, you'll always make plays, you'll always be around the ball. And he tells us that every day, every practice. I've learned way more than what I thought. Just the way that he's broken it down and made it so simplified and just showed us playing with your hands, coming out your hips, DDF, and just like the little things that we talk about every day. And it's made me like 10 times a better player than I was before. I know he's definitely seen me grow as a player.
The relationship that I like to have with them is almost like a father-son relationship. There has to be that respect. That's part of being a football coach. You can't buddy-buddy with your players, but you sure as heck can treat them like your own sons. And just like my son and my daughter have at home, they know that discipline comes first, and with discipline comes playtime. If there's no discipline, there's no playtime. And that's what I want with my players. I want them to understand that, yeah, they can cut loose with me, as a father and son relationship, and we can have a good time together. But at the same time, we're in a sport where you have to be professional about what you do. Every day I say, hey, come out there and practice like a pro. Act like a pro when you're around people.
Zoe is a good friend of mine, one of the best D-line coaches I've ever been around. Good family man, good father, good husband. Has a great relationship with his players, very tough, very demanding on the practice field, but you always see his former players come back. A number of the former UCF players from his first go-around have come back to come see him. I think he does an excellent job, and one of my closest friends.